Hey everybody, welcome back. Week 14 of NFL is almost in the books. We're sitting here Sunday night. Rams versus the Bears going on right now. It was an eventful, jam-packed, action-packed weekend in the NFL. Poker guy, what'd you think of this week's games?
I was entertained, delightfully entertained. A lot to talk about today, on the field and off the field. If you want to start with off the field stuff, I think that's probably the better decision here.
Yeah, so we'll get to the NFL here in just a second. First, we got to talk about, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? So, big thing going on Saturday night in New York City. Kyler Murray, he won the Heisman. Alabama fans are fucking salty. They're salty. They are waiting December 29th. That's their war cry. Tua is going to be able to go against the 129th passing defense, and they are going to try and murder Kyler Murray.
Well, they're going to kick the shit out of him. Alabama's going to win that game.
Yeah, they're going to try and put him in the ambulance. And the one thing that I didn't notice, like Kyler Murray, I didn't notice this until I saw him next to Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, obviously the third runner-up in the Heisman voting, quarterback at Ohio State. That dude's a fucking giant. He's an absolute giant of a man. 6'5", 230, 240, something like that. And one of the best tweets that I saw over the course of the week was a three-shot of Tua, Dwayne Haskins, and Kyler Murray standing next to the statue. And somebody tweeted, Kyler Murray going to be the first person to be the actual size of the Heisman statue to win it. Because that dude's fucking tiny. I know people want him to play in the NFL, but I don't know. I'd go play some baseball if I were him.
Yeah, he's going to die if he ends up playing in the NFL. What happened to Michael Vick? Michael Vick broke a clavicle. Lamar Jackson's on his way to doing the same thing. You just can't take that many hits, dude. There's just way too many big dudes in the NFL. You know what I mean? If your goal is to die, go into the NFL. If your goal is to live a long and fulfilling life and being able to walk and not ride around on Segways, then your goal is probably not to play in the NFL. But congratulations, Kyler Murray. Congrats, buddy. Enjoy it while you can, because you guys are going to get fucked in the mouth by Alabama.
And if you want actual health care, don't join whatever that football league was that we were talking about last week, where they give you nothing but
the Legends.
Legend or whatever it is. No, not the chick one, the other one where they give you nothing but like essential oils and whatever those pyramid scheme protein powders are, like when you tear your ACL.
Oregano. They give you oregano tablets.
Here's some oregano tablets and some essential oils. Go ahead and rub that on your body, and then you take about 3 weeks, and you're going to be good to go there. But the big thing about Kyler Murray winning is there's some douchebag. I won't even say his name. His name doesn't deserve to be mentioned. But he went through Kyler Murray's old tweets. And, man, if you're anybody, I've only been on Twitter for a couple months, so I've only got grown-ass man tweets on there. So really anything that's there, it's kind of, it's there for people to see, and you're able to kind of, think about that with a straight head. But Kyler Murray's been on Twitter since he's been 14 at least. And he had a couple tweets where there's some douchebag from, what was that, the USA Today, who is literally just sitting on these tweets waiting for Kyler Murray to win the Heisman Trophy. And then he put him out there, and he was like, oh, man, Kyler Murray with his homophobic tweets. And I don't know where these lines are, man. I don't know where they're at anymore, because there was
what did he say?
There's a 14-year-old kid, and he had a couple tweets where he called some people queers, right?
Okay.
So it's like, all right. If you're in church or something like that, don't use that language. I guess it's hate speech, depending on who you're talking to. But for me, if you've ever been a 14-year-old kid and or a 14 through 25-year-old kid, I'm sure there's worse shit that's come out of your mouth.
There was a period of time when I was a kid that I think I was in high school, maybe 8th grade, 9th grade. I heard the word gay. I didn't know what it meant, but I loved saying it. So even at the dinner table, my parents were like, hey, how was school? I'm like, yeah, it was gay. My parents were like, okay, what the fuck's wrong with you? And I just used that word for a long time. I didn't even know what it meant. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if this kid doesn't even know what the word queer means.
Yeah. He's 14 years old, and the guy that's trying to dredge that up is a real sack of shit. So whoever
Well,
you
that's a
are,
good segue into what we were talking about earlier. Isn't there somebody else that's famous that just got his name dragged through the ground as well, or dragged through the mud for something
yeah,
very similar?
yeah. So Kevin Hart, he was the slated to be the Oscars host for about 15 minutes, and then somebody did the same shit to him. But for him, it wasn't even just the tweets. Like he has old stand-up specials that were like carefully curated, and he makes jokes about how if he thought his kid was going to be gay, he would make attempts to try and like stop that activity. Right? I mean, this is
Mhm.
2008. We weren't as woke as we are right now as a culture. But at first he was like, I didn't want to apologize. And then he came out and he gave some bullshit Kareem Hunt style apology. Or he's like, I'm really sorry that I, got caught, slash, that this got thrown
Yeah.
back in my face. And I just don't think that he's really sorry. I don't think he should be sorry. I mean, fuck that. I mean, I wouldn't be sorry. It's like, dude, I am a comedian. Like, what? We can't even have our fucking comedians anymore cross the line? Like, if I ever hear Trey Parker and Matt Stone apologize for any of their South Park episodes, like, actually, I guess they did kind of apologize for one of them. They kind of
Which
apologized
one?
for the Al Gore one, for the Man Bear Pig one, where they were
Why?
like, because they were like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess Al Gore was like totally on point. like he was completely right to be fucking panicked out of his mind. They've seen too many coral reefs die off in the last couple of years to kind of hold firm on that. So they kind of issued like a roundabout apology. Not that they were like offensive, but simply that they were like pretty much just wrong. Like that they had a wrong take. So
Well, what's fair game then? I guess the argument here is like if you can't, it's either all good or none of it's good. You know what I mean? Because really, who draws the line other than people online criticizing you and stuff? You know what I mean? Like I feel like everything should be like you should be allowed to make fun of anybody for anything. At the end of the day, that's just me. I don't know. I would love to have a conversation with somebody that had a different point of view and could kind of like prove me wrong. Like who knows, man? Maybe I might go full. What is the guy's name? Michael Crowder, and go to like a like UCF campus, University of Central Florida, and say, you know, I want to say the word queer, changing my mind, and just sit there and just interview people and see what the big deal is.
no,
Um,
that guy that's got all the memes that's like changed my mind.
yeah, it changed
Um,
my mind. So what he does is goes on to campuses and he has like I guess I mean obviously he's trying to trigger people and piss them off, but some of his things are there's two genders, change my mind. You know what I mean? And then like people go up and it's usually on a liberal college campus, so you get I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but you get the girl who she's a lesbian and she's kind of not I'm sorry, she's not a lesbian, but she identifies as non-binary, which means you're not a man or a woman.
she's a
I'm just learning about this
she's a
shit.
non-binary. She goes her pronouns are Zim and Zer
Yeah,
or whatever the fuck they are.
exactly. And so he goes on campus and he talks to these people, and people get really excited about it. It's really a hard time to have an opinion in public because, I mean, even what I'm saying right now is on some level kind of inflammatory. And, so
I
I might
just
hurt somebody's feelings. And I'm not trying to, I don't have it in any malicious intentions at all. I just don't understand it.
I don't
I
think that
don't get it.
anyone knows what the word fascist actually means. It's like, man, like fucking Kyler Murray, that kid's a fascist. It's like, no, he's a fucking 14-year-old kid. Like, oh, Kevin Hart, he's a fascist. He's a fucking comedian, dude. Like,
Yeah.
he's not, fucking going all Matthew Shepard on people and tying them to a fucking barbed wire fence and beating them lifeless. Like, he's not doing that, dude. He's cracking a joke on stage. And I know
Yeah.
there are people out there be like, bro, that's how it starts, man. It's like first, it's the reverse. It's the kind of the liberal counterpoint to the conservative. If we have gay marriage, we're all gonna be fucking horses here in about 15
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, if we got gay marriage, well, that's it. We're all fucking horses. And it's like,
Yep.
if we let Kevin Hart make this joke, then we're all gonna be, just beating homosexuals lifeless. It's like, nah, dude. If you want to know what oppression is, go to Pakistan. All right, like there's that one chick who I don't even know what her name is, but I think she's from it was in Pakistan, where she got in an argument with her neighbors over like well water or something. And then they just made up that she blasphemed the Prophet Muhammad, and now she's on death row. And then eventually, after
Damn.
9 years on death row, she was acquitted due to lack of evidence. Because it's like, dude, you could literally just go and be like, just point at fucking somebody and be like, they blasphemed Muhammad, and then you can murder them. Like, that's fucking, all right, that's oppression, people. Okay? Like, Kevin Hart making a joke on stage, it's not. And it's not fascism, and people don't know what that means. But we're getting a little too far into that. But we're going to walk the line a little bit ourselves here when it comes to maybe being a bit phobic about things, because hey, here comes another cracked open door for Poker Guy's famous transphobia to rear its ugly head, because we have a new headline as far as that goes in the world of sports. There is a handball player from where's she from? Australia,
So
I believe.
it looks like she's from Australia.
Australia.
And, well, he used to be playing in the handball sphere. I guess the
We're fucking
handballverse.
playing dangerous games with those pronouns, buddy.
I'm sorry. The person was playing in the handball universe. And in 2016, they started taking hormones and transitioning. So now 2 years have gone by. And this person is now female. And not just any female, but a 6'3", 230-pound transgender handball player. And this person is leading the Australian national team to victory. And I, for one, get ripped on all the time for being transphobic. And you guys heard it here first. I fucking love it. I can't get enough of this guy. I'll be fucking days.
So the person in question is
awesome.
Hannah Muncy. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the sport of handball, so I saw this story come up, and I was like, what the fuck is handball? All right, handball is one of those things that you see every 4 years for about 15 minutes on NBC's Olympic coverage. But it's actually a pretty fucking cool game. So it's a combination of soccer, hockey, and basketball.
It's
So
pretty much soccer with your hands in a smaller field. That's what it looks like, at least.
yeah, and then there's basketball component to dribbling, and then they substitute and shift like hockey. So it's a nice synthesis of those things, but it's a very physical sport, right?
Because you got to box people out. You got to box people out. You got to kind of, get on your knees and kind of like, push people around.
It's very physical. You're not playing badminton. You're running, you're jumping, you're bumping into people. You're throwing a ball, by the way, which there aren't any women in the major leagues. All right, I get that there are a lot of women that can throw softballs way faster than I could hit them. I can just see somebody being like, bro, I'd like to see you get in there and try and hit Jenny Finch's fucking fastball. I'm like, dude, I'm not a baseball player. So okay, yeah, she could strike me out. Congratulations. She probably couldn't strike out, I don't know any baseball players. Mike Trout? She probably could not strike Mike Trout out because the ball is much bigger and it doesn't move as fast. But it's not baseball. It's not even baseball. And this fucking person's got a rocket arm. All right. They're 6'2", 220. That's 17.3 stones for everyone listening over in the UK, and or 100 kilograms. So this is a monster of an individual. And it's not fucking fair.
In any sport.
It's not fair. It's not fair, that they can compete with this. It's a physical sport. And the fact that, this person looks like fucking Clay Matthews, all right? If you put number 52 on this person and threw him in a Packers uniform, it would take at least 15 to 20 minutes for people to figure out that they were not talking to Clay Matthews. If you put a helmet on him, could probably make it through half the fucking game before Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were like, hey, wait a minute. That doesn't look like Clay Matthews. Wait a minute.
Clay Matthews doesn't have such a defined jawline. This person has a way gnarlier jaw than Clay Matthews.
Yeah, this person's got a little bit more fucking burst off the line than Clay Matthews has. Because Clay Matthews has been losing it the last couple of years. So it's dude, you cannot fucking... There's certain sports where you can't do that, man. You can't do that.
I love it. It's
basically like handball is a lot you remember American Gladiators, that show?
Yes.
So American Gladiators, it was segregated back in the olden days of the 1980s and 90s. Back in the olden days. And they had that one game where they had the little buckets on basically the trash cans on the ground. And they had all those like they had just a bunch of balls. And they had like 2 or 3 gladiators in the middle of the pit. And then they had their 2 skinny little scared contestants running up and down. And it's basically like handball's basically that game. And this person is a fucking gladiator. It's like Nitro gets to go in there and play against the female competitors. Like, it ain't fair, man. Like, there's nothing fair about what's going on.
I love it though. And I don't want it to stop. And if you guys are not driving, this is a good time to pause the pod and just Google Hannah Mouncey and look at it. There's a famous picture going around the internet right now, and it's got like 3 chicks from like Pakistan or something. They got the hijabs on, and he's like D'd up. You know what I mean? His back is to 3 of them.
It's like KD at the end of the finals, man. It's like so many defenders. It's like Kobe, Kobe, like just getting triple teamed, taking shots.
Yeah, it looks like Ron Artest, like at the battle at what is it when he started punching out?
Oh, Malice at the Palace.
Yeah, it's like Malice at the Palace, and he's just a large individual, Ron Artest, and he's just going in and just fucking punching all these people. That's what it looks like. And this person's got some sick moves, and I love it. I don't want it to stop. So
I mean, that's the question of the day. I mean, if Hannah were on the other team, would she be forced to wear the hijab? Oh, wait, are we getting Islamophobic there too? Is that too many phobias? Let's move on from all these phobias because we got some good news for everybody. Arthur Blank, he's got his redemption. He may not have that sweet, sweet Lombardi trophy, but Arthur Blank, he's going to his grave as a champion. So, as y'all know, we're really big on Major League Soccer coverage here on this podcast, and this is probably going to be it for the year in this 2 minutes. If it wasn't Arthur Blank, we wouldn't be talking about it. But Arthur Blank, his Atlanta United defeated the Portland Timbers 2-0 for the MLS Cup, and there you go. There's your redemption, state of Georgia. Forget all about that Falcons 28-3 nonsense. Forget all about how you just can't beat the Alabama Crimson Tide in any meaningful game. That was fucking painful yet again. But now you can sleep at night because your sweet, sweet Atlanta United have brought the, I don't know what it is, like the Nutsack Cup home or whatever they have in the Major League Soccer. You are the champions. Play the song and pop some beers open.
I don't really have much to say. It's the MLS Cup title, so I don't really want to talk about this anymore. I mean, I could rip on Arthur Blank here. I mean, the guy looks like a corpse. So,
I mean, I'll tell you what, it's been tough times up here in the Portland area since the loss. Just people dressed in black, rioting. They're very upset.
That's a great segue.
Oh no, wait, that's actually just another Antifa riot. That's fucking nothing to do with the Portland Timbers losing that, but. We're talking about rioters. You saw something interesting on the riot front happening to our non-friends overseas in France.
Yeah, we get along with pretty much everybody except France. So fuck France. But yeah, there's a bunch of protests going on. I don't really know what it's about. Being an uneducated, ignorant American, all I really know is I can actually
fill you in there a little bit. It's basically the French version of those 1% things that were going on here in America. So like they're really getting
the Wall Street stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're really getting fucked over. I actually came out of reading a specific article, very sympathetic to those protesters over there and the things they're trying to achieve. People not so sympathetic are the law enforcement people in the area.
Yeah, they're not very empathetic. There's a funny video if you guys get a chance. You got to look at it. It's called like "Guy Gets Shot in the Nuts with Flashbang Grenade." The title kind of gives it away. So the guy's standing there. He's doing the Jesus Christ crucifix. He's doing the Titanic. He's kind of doing one of those poses for his Instagram. And then a renegade flashbang hits him square in the fucking dick.
Oh, so it's a beanbag. It's a beanbag. Yeah.
Whatever it was coming in fast, a lot of velocity, and it hit him right in the dick. So, it's all fun and games until you get a flashbang launched into your ball sack. So I guess the take-home message here is if you're going to be protesting Antifa, animal rights, Wall Street shit, whatever it may be, you got to wear a cup, dude, because that ruined his day. To that guy, I hope you're okay, man. I hope your balls aren't herniated or whatever. I hope they're okay. I'm wishing you well. And if you send me your address, I'll send you a cup.
But I mean, the moral of that story is if you're going to fucking picket a bunch of police officers all day long and then literally stand there solo and dare 20 of them to fucking shoot you with the beanbag gun, like there's a pretty good chance that one of them's going to take you up on that offer, man. Like one of them is going to think that it's a good idea.
But if you and me are standing next to each other, dude, you're elbowing me like, hey, bruh, I bet you to hit this, you can't hit this guy in the nuts. I'm going to try to hit him in the nuts. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, honestly. And I'm probably sympathetic to their cause on some level, hashtag conspiracy theory. But I don't care who it is. I'm going to try to hit you in the nuts, buddy. I'm going to try to hit you in the nuts with something.
I mean, I can see it from both angles. I mean, like I said, I'm generally sympathetic towards the things that those protesters are trying to achieve, working for the common man, and same as you and I, we're out here representing the common man. We are the common man. We work for the common man. And we work for the benefit of that person, those people. But I can also appreciate, like, having been in the military, that, like, dude, those are just people over there and everybody's got a breaking point. And having some dipshit fucking just standing there taunting you, and that basically, like, all right, it's kind of like I can shoot this beanbag off and I'm probably not going to get in trouble with it. And at a certain point, you're going to be like, fuck this guy, dude. Fuck him. I'm shooting this at him. Like, I'm going to take him down. And it hits him and he doubles over. And then his little friends come out and they drag him back to the main line. But you cannot skyline yourself like that. You're going to catch one. Lesson learned, like, stay within the midst of the general protest. You want to be in the general population there. Don't be first, don't be last. Never volunteer for anything. It's an important life lesson for everyone listening to the pod.
Just don't ostracize other people, especially police officers with firearms. Don't try to get shot. That's kind of what was going on.
just don't do it. Don't be like, don't dare people with guns to shoot you. Like, don't do that. You never want to do that. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into some of these football games this week. Start off the big game of the week. As far as the news and the ending and all that, Pats went into Miami. We called this one. We knew it was going to be a close one. Pats were like 9 to 10 point favorites when the game kicked off, depending where you're putting your money down. They sure as fuck didn't cover that, and they could not cover that Dolphins, whatever they were doing, that double hook and ladder where Drake ran in the end zone. Like I said, I'm not a Patriots fan, but I am a Gronkowski fan, and that one fucking hurt because he looked like the Tin Man trying to catch up to Drake at the end there. And
why was he in the back? Why'd they have him in the back? Was that because they wanted him to go for like Hail Mary or something? They thought Tannehill was going to do a Hail Mary?
Yeah, I mean, and that I don't understand. They were on the Dolphins' 31-yard line. So what are you doing? I mean, Ryan Tannehill, he can't throw the fucking ball that far. Like, he can't be done. So get somebody out there with some speed. Put McCourty back on the field. Put somebody who plays defense back there. Or even put Josh Gordon back there. I mean, he's big and strong. Yeah. He's fucking fast. He probably would have made that tackle. But, I mean,
Sony Michel at like 5'10", he could have probably stopped Drake, at least, dropped him at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, why not just put Brady back there? Fuck, man. Like, Tommy would have almost got him just as quick as Gronk did. Like, I mean, Gronk, and what sucks is it really kind of fucking covered up. Gronk had a monster game. I mean, he had 100-plus yards receiving, bunch of catches, touchdown pass, and really, really horrible ending for Patriots fans out there.
Well, they threw that game, dude, because Tom Brady was really throwing some really bad, inaccurate, un-Tommy-like passes. So my conspiracy theory spider sense told me before the game they were going to throw this game, and they did throw that game. And I really wish I had seen the Bill Belichick post-game. I didn't get the chance to see that, but chances are Bill Belichick is not fucking happy about that loss. But
I saw some of that, a little bit of that press conference, and he was – I mean, he's a pretty level guy, win or lose. He's always down. And there's nothing kind of out of the ordinary. He tried to downplay it as, hey, we made mistakes all day. It didn't just come down to one play, but as we learned from our recent travails with the Arizona kicking experience, sometimes it does come down to one play, and it is your fault. So it
If you're
really
listening,
came,
AZ football dad,
yeah,
it is your
AZ
fault.
football dad, choke job, brother, choke job. So another game that basically came down to one play was the Chiefs-Ravens game. The Ravens had the Chiefs up against the wall, 4th and 9 in their own territory, and Patty Mahomes did a full Patty Mahomes, pinwheeled out of a rush, ran to the sideline, and just chucked one all the way down the field into the waiting arms of Tyreek Hill, who happily caught the ball, ran the sidelines. Chiefs went in, tied it up, and they actually missed a field goal at the end of that in regulation to win the game. Ended up in overtime and ended up taking the game in overtime. But that was a big moment for Patty Mahomes, overcoming a little bit of adversity in that game.
That was good. It went exactly as I had predicted it. I thought the defense would kind of hold them back the whole time. But, the defense gets tired. And Tyreek Hill, he doesn't slow down. So like you said, Tyreek Hill made it happen. And then what it really came down to was, can Lamar Jackson do an overtime drive here? And the immaturity showed. I mean, I think at the very, very end on that weak side, he got sacked by like 4 guys at the same time, fumbled the ball, and then the game was over. So I guess it's kind of the beginning of the end for Mr. Harbaugh. It's been fun, it's been real, but enjoy helping Lane Kiffin coach the FAU Owls next year, because I think running the ball 80 times a game is okay, but it's not the recipe to get into the postseason or survive the postseason. So I think it is over. The only saving grace here is that the Steelers did lose today, and the Bengals lost too. So the Ravens, believe it or not, I don't know how, they're still in the running, dude. They can still possibly get into the playoffs.
They can still make it in there. Patty Mahomes also had a crazy. He literally did a no look pass at some point during the game, like he's LeBron playing basketball. That was, I love that guy. He makes football fun, and I hope the Chiefs can at least win one playoff game this year. If they can win one playoff game, they're going to find themselves at home in Arrowhead, playing for a trip to the Super Bowl. And I think we're all jonesing for another Rams versus Chiefs game. We'd all love to see that sometime in February. That'd be a real kind of, double-edged sword to have something that exhilarating and then to wake up on Monday morning and be like, fuck, it's over, man. And it is slowly sneaking up on us. Week 14, we only got 3 more weeks left here.
It's okay. NBA is still okay, yeah. Wait till May and then we can fall on our swords and eat a bunch of Excedrin PM. Because once the basketball season's over, then we got to deal with baseball.
I'm not watching any baseball ever again in my life. It's unless they do something to fix that sport. Everybody else has a play clock. Why the fuck does somebody just get to stand around and scratch their nuts for 3 minutes before they throw every pitch? I don't get it, man. Just fucking, they need to do something. We're talking about
baseball is just to go in person and just Uber there and then get fucked up and harass women and then Uber home. I think that's really what the point of baseball is. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, prove him wrong. He'll be at your local college campus with a fold out set of chairs and a table.
I will tell you this, man. I had a killer time. One of the most fun things I've ever did. I went to a minor league baseball game in November or something. And the only people that go to minor league baseball games are diehard baseball fans, right? So I go there with a bunch of friends, and everybody's drinking, everybody's belligerent, everybody's screaming and yelling. The players are yelling at the crowd, the crowd's yelling at the player. The home team had a clear advantage. I ended up learning what a walk-off home run was that day because I saw a walk-off home run. It was cool as fuck. I guess the best part was this guy, he snuck in a trumpet. Okay, he snuck in a trumpet, and the security didn't care because, it's minor league. So what the guy was doing, he was playing all kinds of goofy shit, at all hours of the entire game. If somebody's at bat, he wouldn't play the trumpet then, but if he would swing, he'd be like, wah, 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 Like, it was just so fun. And security did nothing. So I think that's just part of the game. So if you ever want to have a good time, minor league baseball, that's where the fun is at. And we all got fucked up. We all got hammered. It was a really good time. I think we harassed a couple women that day too. But either way, it was really fun.
Pardon me, sir. Pardon me. This is a Vuvuzela-free zone. I'm going to need you to take that outside.
Dude, a full-blown silver trumpet. Like a full-blown trumpet. It's ridiculous.
It's probably like not the first time he's done that too. Like it's probably his thing. It's like this is where I feel value in the world, is at this Jitterbugs game while people are laughing at my awesome trumpet scores.
Hey, remember that one time I went to that game and I did the thing? Yeah, that was sweet. That's the highlight of his day, you know.
I'm going back there, dude. I'm going back again on Thursday. I think I've found my calling in life. Some people, it's being a doctor and trying to cure cancer. Me, it's being the Jitterbugs trumpet guy in the 8th row on the third base side, visiting team's dugout. I'm here to fuck you up.
Here to fuck you up and make odd sounds and kind of throw you off your game.
So, speaking of baseball, we played a football game on a baseball field, and it ended up winning it for the Raiders at the end. So the Raiders played the Steelers. What was the final score on that game? I'm trying to find that here. Oh, yeah, the Steelers lost by 3. Yeah, 24-21. Steelers 7-5-1 now. Raiders 3-10. So that's $33.3 million per Gruden win at this point. He is really bringing that number down. And Derek Unicycle did everything he could to lose this at the end. Ben Roethlisberger did his heroic comeback after whoever the Dobson is their backup quarterback. They need a better backup quarterback in Pittsburgh. Yeah. That guy's fucking terrible. But
what about the Landry guy? Isn't there like a Landry that they always using? Some kind
he cut, Landry. Man. He washed out of the league already. So really? he's gone. Jeff Driscoll started a football game today, and you're not in the NFL. So that's tough times for anybody who's no longer in the league. So the Steelers, they took the ball down at the very end. The Raiders, the classic late game collapse. And the Steelers actually did their own hook and ladder. Hook and ladder was the play of the day, the play du jour. I'll have some of that. And they got it down to, I think, like a 40-yard field goal. And then Mark Davis's secret plan finally hatched. That new turf that they installed right next to third base fucking slipped right out of there. And the Steelers kicker fell on his fucking ass. He kicked the ball into his own lineman. Game over. Via con Dios, everyone in Pittsburgh. They're partying in Oakland tonight.
That was incredible, dude. That field is so shitty. It's like what the Texans field was like 3 years ago. You know, that field is absolute dog shit. I mean, by the third quarter, it was all brown and fucked up. It was all like ripped up. But yeah, congratulations to the Raiders. I couldn't believe it. Who was going to think that John Gruden was going to fuck up the tank? You know, I was totally blown away.
There are a couple teams trying to fuck up the tank today.
There's a lot. And on top of that, man, Mike Tomlin, we were talking about it last week. He's got to be on the hot seat now. He's been on the hot seat for a couple of years now. But you lost to the Raiders. That's a very winnable game. I know Ben wasn't in the whole time, but come on, man. You can't be losing that game. That's a must-win game. Now the Ravens are still in a playoff hunt, so that was a must-win. A must-win for
they got to go into New England next week, so this slide could continue. Yeah. That's 3 in a row that the Steelers have lost. They may find themselves 7-6-1 on the outside looking in of the playoff picture.
And again, Mike Tomlin on the hot seat. So, you know, true RG3 fans are ecstatic, though, because the RG3 story continues as the Ravens make their playoff push. So here's to more Subway commercials and maybe a New Balance sponsorship for RG3. Hoping for the best, bruh.
Hope for the best. And by the way, we've been talking about RG3 and his hair. He put a new post out on Facebook or Twitter. I think it was Twitter. He put a new post out there. Him with his smoking hot girlfriend, and there are a lot of angry people in the comments on that particular picture.
Why are they angry?
He's black, she's white, and I guess we haven't come all the way, everybody. What was actually interesting, it wasn't so much white people being mad as it was your strong and independent black woman saying that, you know, he had no business doing what he was doing. So
really
a little different take there. There was like a lot of angry black women in the comments in that where they were like, he's trash, like she can have him or something. Where it's like, how dare he kind of fucking do that to them as if they like
Because
have
he if he
some.
was because if he was like a true man, he wouldn't date a white woman. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, exactly. He'd be on
Uh,
blackpeoplemeet.com finding his ladies there. Right. So
well,
that's
he's on Farmers
racism right
Only.
there, people. That's an example of it. So we're seeing it. I'm RG3, you date whoever you want to. You want to date a white lady, date a white lady. You want to date any other kind of lady, you date that kind of lady. As the type of dude maybe you wouldn't want to trust your football team to him because he's been up and down the football field, but he's a fucking good dude. I think any father would be happy to have their daughter dating a NFL football player who's won a Heisman Trophy and is generally a pretty good dude. So
Yeah, I think the resounding thing is that RJ3 at the end of the day is a good dude. Um, he's kind of been like a loyal guy, which is probably a good segue into my other favorite African American quarterback, Russell Wilson. I'm a big Russell Wilson fan, as you may know, but he's dating Ciara, and a lot of people seem to absolutely not like that relationship. People are hating on him all the time because he's
I
dating
don't get it.
Ciara.
I don't know why. I mean, he's
Yeah,
taking good
people
care of
don't seem to
Future's
like that.
kids. I don't know why they're
Yeah,
not happy about that situation. Like, fucking people are
I don't
jealous,
know.
man. That's what it really comes down to. Is people are just they're living little lives, and then they just get jealous when anybody's got anything good going on in their life. They get fucking
Yeah,
jealous, and they think that they've got the right to tell people. What really pisses me off is when people like, I don't know, fucking, the Kardashians, right? Like they're a whole kind of moving box of trash, right? I mean, that's just kind of what they are, but they have kind of worked themselves into their own little empire. And if
yeah.
Kendall Jenner wants to make $1 billion because fucking 16-year-old to 24-year-old chicks are stupid and they fucking want to like, there are people that were literally like donating to her so that she could get to $1 billion. Like, oh
It's
wow, I made
unbelievable.
$300 working for Little Caesars this week. Let me give fucking Kendall Jenner $10 so she can hit that number. So it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, good for her.
Ugh,
Like, good for her.
yeah,
But what
kind of a
pisses me off
bad.
is when people are like, this is what you should. Everybody's got an opinion about what you should fucking do with your money and what you should do like with your status. It's like, dude, if you're that fucking wrapped up in it, how about you go out there and make $1 billion and then you can decide what gets done with that money.
I think it's just me, but I don't really pay attention to anybody else's shit when it comes to finances. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just not a jealous person, or maybe I'm too stupid to be jealous. But when it comes to these Kardashian people, I mean, these people are worship, dude. People worship these people. These people should not be idols to children. They're like little girls that are like, oh yeah, I have the whatever, the Kyle Jenner lipstick. I got the Kylie Jenner lipstick or the glow stick, whatever it is, the chapstick, and this shit sells like fucking like hotcakes, man. People absolutely love it. If I had a kid, she wouldn't be fucking wearing that. She wouldn't be fucking wearing that shit at all. She'd be. I would want her idolizing like another woman, like Mrs. Keenum or
Yeah.
Michelle
But
Obama or somebody with real talent. You know what I mean?
But at the end of
Not
the
these
day, it's like, all
Kardashian
right,
shits.
whether it's Kendall Jenner or Mrs. Keenum, it's all just a bunch of fucking underpaid Chinese people putting together those chapstick things with little nets around their building so they can't fucking die when they jump off of them and they can get their ass back on the production line, just dust them off, send them back out there, get them making more fucking chapstick. So at the end of the day, it's like, all right, that's that extortion money, like that's going in somebody's pocket. Like, why the fuck do I care whose money that is? It doesn't matter to me. The only person in that family I got a problem with is Caitlyn Jenner. It's got nothing to do with her, not being a dude anymore. It's got to do with her not being a murderer. So that's my problem with her, is that she's a
You mean getting
murderer.
you running over people?
Yeah, buckle up, buckaroos. Like, buckle the fuck up whenever Caitlin's on the road, because she's going to try and fucking murder your ass.
Yeah, Caitlyn Jenner. Like Bill Burr said it best too. He was like, "What the fuck happened to Bruce?" It's just like Bruce just died, and like everybody forgot about Bruce. There wasn't a funeral. There wasn't like
It's
a
like
like
what?
a
It's like
vigil.
what about Bob? It's like but there's no Bill Murray. There's no Bill Murray involved, so it's not as funny. And there's more murder. But anyhow, moving on. What about the Bills, man? I'll tell you what I didn't do this week. I didn't put any money on this Bills game because I'm glad I didn't. Because I mean, 27-23, Jets 4-9, Bills 4-9. They have pulled even with each other into last place of the AFC East. And I mean, Sam
Not much to
Darnold
say about this
showed.
game. Not much
Yeah,
to
I
say about this
mean,
game. I mean, we've been
it's
saying to
a shitty
Mahomes.
game.
We've been saying Mahomes versus Narc Rosen all season long, but the real story here isn't Mahomes versus Narc Rosen. It's Darnold versus Josh Allen. Because I think these guys, as rookie quarterbacks, they're going to be in the AFC East for a long, long time, and these two are going to have a fun tenure. Tying for third and fourth every year in the AFC East behind the Patriots and the Dolphins. So it doesn't even matter really.
It's about time that like an early round running back choice paid off for somebody in that division. And Josh Allen's he's doing well running the ball. He had 100 yards running the ball, 200 yards and 2 picks. He's not a good quarterback. Why don't you just fucking move him to tailback? I mean, that seems to be his natural position. A bunch of people talking shit about Lamar Jackson should change positions. Why not Josh Allen? Dude can't throw the football, but he can run the fuck out of it. Sam Darnold had one good play in the game. He had that sort of Patrick Mahomes-esque wheel around and then found somebody in the end zone to get that touchdown to get him in the lead. But other than that, I mean, Todd Bowles, what you didn't do is you didn't save your job today, brother. You're still going to be out at the end of the year.
But we still confirmed it. He was going to fuck up the tank, and there you go. He fucked up the tank. So
he's going to fuck the Jets one last time on his way out the door.
Well, let's go to the next game, man. Let's talk to Giants, Redskins. I know we were calling for the Giants to cover. Go us or go us.
So Giants at the Redskins, 40-16. Giants move to 5-8. Redskins fall to 6-7. And a couple things going on here. The Redskins, it's going to happen. John and Jay, they're getting together next year. We called it. Daniel Snyder, he's a terrible person. He's not a patient man. He is going to send Jay Gruden packing. He doesn't give a fuck that Alex Smith is lying in a hospital fighting for his life as the measles from all the anti-vax children are trying to tear his limbs from his body. And Giants fans maybe have it even a little worse than Redskins fans because Eli Manning's done just enough to show the signs of life to trick them that, like, hey, maybe one more year Eli's not the worst idea.
It's funny you say that because I was going through the comments section on a lot of these like post-game threads, and there's a lot of comment sectioners that want Eli Manning back. There's a lot of clamoring for him. So a lot of people are pumped, and I guess those are just fans that don't really know what the implications are, because if they re-sign Eli Manning to like a 2-3 year contract, that's a bad thing. That's a really bad thing. So I don't think they understand that. It's not a good thing. But like I guess the one good thing that I did enjoy this game, Mark Sanchez, I would say that he lived up to everybody's expectations. A 6 out of 14, 38 yards passing, and 2 mega delicious interceptions. So I was very excited about that. I think the game was 40-0 at one point, or 27-0 at like half. So
they were streaming out of there at halftime. Like it was over at half. It was 34-0 at halftime.
It's got to be hard to be a Redskins fan, man, because they weren't doing too bad 2-3 weeks ago. And then you have Alex Smith goes down, and then you and me are saying that Colt McCoy's better, and then Colt McCoy goes down, and then it's just been in a tailspin. It's been
Johnson or whoever that guy's name is. I mean,
it doesn't matter.
He was okay in garbage time, but that's exactly what it was. And
yeah, there was a couple of quarterback, I think it was like a touchdown at one point that he was like high-fiving people, but at that point the score was like 40-7, and he was like,
yeah, you can't do Fortnite dances after you score and you're down 40-7. Like you can't do that. Like you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Like after you've just close the gap to 33 points. It doesn't make any sense.
You still got like 7 more touchdowns to go, Junior. Just keep it in your pants.
Like I get it. You've been practicing that all week in the mirror. You don't know if you're ever going to score again this year. You want to bust it out, but you got to keep that in your pocket, man. Let's move on to the next game. Saints move to 11-2. Bucks fall to 5-8. 28-14 is the final there in Tampa Bay. Dirk Cutter, here's your shovel, brother. Start digging. It's fucking over for you. Your job is he may get fired on Monday. Like it may be
time ago.
It may be time to just get rid of that guy. I mean, I think it's who the fuck are those? The Glazers?
The Glazers, yeah.
Yeah, they're assholes. They will not hesitate to fire their coach at a whim. Jameis, the best thing about this game was, number one, the fact that I didn't put any money on it. I had no read on this, particularly when I saw right before kickoff, it was a shitty rainstorm. And sometimes those weather games, you don't know how they're going to play out. Bucks got up early and then shat their pants as the Saints came back. Taysom Hill had that blocked punt. That dude's a football player. I don't know if he's ever going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he's going to hang around for a bit because he's a Swiss Army knife of football players. And one of the most cutting things of the day was Jameis's interaction with Ryan Jensen, the offensive lineman for the Buccaneers. They got into it on the sidelines, and that was caught by the producers of the broadcast.
Have you ever seen America's Got Talent? You ever seen sometimes when people, they have this skill where they can squirt milk from their eyeballs? Like Jameis looked like he was about to do that routine. And Jensen was like, I don't know, the guy Simon or some guy with a hat or whatever, the guy from
Howie Mandel,
that dude from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, whatever. And he was unimpressed because that guy didn't flinch. And Jameis was like, all right, I'll back down. He kind of took off and scuttled away. Very unimpressive showing by Jameis. I didn't like that game. I'm just going to finish this here with a hashtag WhoDat. I was reading the comment sections earlier, and somebody described Sean Payton as Brody from Homeland. And now I can't unsee that. Now every time I see this guy, he looks like Brody from Homeland.
I'm not familiar with Homeland. Is Brody the main? I saw a couple episodes of that, but is Brody the main guy?
Yeah, Brody's the main guy. Spoiler alert. Apparently, there's a guy. He's like a prisoner of war, and they bring him back, kind of like John McCain. And so, everybody's kind of touting him as this hometown hero. But the point of the story is that the guy is actually a terrorist. So he got a POW'd, and he got converted to Islam. And now he's down for the cause, and he's trying to blow shit up. And so now he's kind of like a splinter cell, if you will. And I don't know if I spoiled anything, but that's pretty much the premise of the show. And now he looks
he is a bad guy.
Payton. So he is a bad guy. Yes, he's a bad guy.
You saved me a lot of time. Basically, he's got to the end of Homeland. That dude's a bad guy. I remember Claire Danes. Her character's kind of a fucking mess in that show, too.
Claire Danes, she's the chick. She's like loves Zoloft and snorting Zoloft. And she's just like, the one thing that you can remember about Claire Danes is she's got like that weird cry face, where she goes to like a pretty young lady and then she starts crying. And then she looks like Smeagol, or not Smeagol. Who's the guy, Frodo or Bilbo, when he sees Frodo's ring and he's just like, oh, my ring. Ah! And he like freaks out. He looks like that guy. Yeah,
that's Bilbo. Yeah,
Bilbo.
That's Lord of the Rings there for you people. We are multifaceted podcast hosts here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Panthers 6-7, Browns 5-7-1 after they beat the Panthers 26-20, and that is 5 in a row if you're counting out in Carolina. You've lost 5 in a row. You started 6-2. Most teams make the playoffs when that happens, but I got some more bad news for you out there. You got 2 of the next 3 against New Orleans, so I don't see any way the Panthers get in the playoffs. Cam Newton, we had bad Cam today. Baker Mayfield outplayed him. And the funniest thing about this game was when the Browns scored a touchdown, they kicked an extra point, and they made the extra point. And then Greg Williams accepted a penalty to move the extra point closer, and then they missed it. I don't know if he was forced to accept that penalty, but if he wasn't, that is probably the most Browns. It's like he channeled the spirit of Hugh Jackson on that one. That's one of the most Browns coaching decisions you'll ever hear.
Well, I think that's what the commentators were saying too. They were just like, what the fuck is going on here, bro?
What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
But they still ended up winning the game. So at the end of the day, that kind of got lost in the dialogue because they still won, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But going back to the Panthers, man, Cam, what do you think about Cam, dude? He's like sick or something because he hasn't been playing right. I know you were saying that we got bad Cam today, but he's been on the Bitcoin downswing for a couple weeks now. And, regardless of Baker feeling dangerous and being the Tesla upswing stock, I think, Cam's just been so fucking terrible. But either way, I think their season's over. I think it's time to fire Ron and then to commence the tank and just, all those people in Charlotte, just get ready for an excellent Charlotte's Hornets season because you guys are going to be exciting to watch.
You got Kemba Walker, man. Kemba Walker. He scored 60 one time in one of those games that you won. Like
he
that
had a
happened.
fadeaway win for UConn like 8 years ago. That was pretty neat.
You've got an aging battered quarterback and an aging small point guard. So things are not looking good for everyone in Carolina. Let me ask you this, though. So we're going to talk about the Falcons-Packers next. Who would you rather have, Matt Ryan or Cam Newton?
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, Cam Newton.
Okay. At this point, man.
You like Matt Ryan? You really like Matt Ryan?
I don't like Matt Ryan, but at this point, Cam Newton's not a top 10 quarterback, right?
Well, let me say this. Cam Newton, if he's allowed to rest and get to where he needs to be, I think everybody's going to take a healthy Cam over Matt Ryan.
I don't think that I would. Cam Newton, he just misses one too many of these fucking easy passes every game where you're like, dude, you should have fucking made that play. I get it. He can run it in from inside the 5-yard line, but that's why you got running backs on your team. Obviously I am down on Matt Ryan, and my biggest bet of the week was on the Packers. Packers moved to 5-7-1. Falcons fall to 4-9. Packers win this thing 30-24. They covered. They were 4-point favorites at home. And this was a lock. This is an absolute lock.
Though. That game was over
early. It was over before they stepped on the field. So Mike McCarthy got fired, but they let him. He's like the classiest fired coach like in the history of coaches getting fired. So he took out a full-page ad in 3 or 4 of the local Packers newspapers. He's been there for 13 years, man. He met his wife in Green Bay, and all his kids were born there. It's like his home. So he looks like he likes cheese
too. He looks like he's somebody who enjoys his cheese and cheese delicacies.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy's eating cheese. He knows where all the best cheese curds in Wisconsin are, guaranteed. Like, I would DM him if I was going up there. I'd be like, Mike, where am I going to go eat these things? I also am a cheese fan. Tell me where I need to stop to get the best of these things. But he took out that ad, and they also let him come back and say goodbye to the coaching staff. And apparently he had a very emotional and heartfelt kind of goodbye to the players as well. They let him talk to the players since he was fired so abruptly, Lane Kiffin style.
That's some good news.
I heard that and I was like, this is fucking over, man. Like, they're gonna ride that emotion, then they're gonna get the Falcons, best 1-4 team, now a very average 4-9 team. As far as that goes, it's over for them. But don't worry, everyone in Atlanta. You don't need a college national championship, and you don't need a Super Bowl because you got the MLS Cup, baby. So you wrap yourself in that nice sports blanket, curl up next to the fire, and just sip some warm hot cocoa. It's going to be you got that. You got that. And they can't take that away from you.
Is Arthur Blank on the sidelines like at all times? Because they're absolute fucking trash. And Matt Ryan pumping up his stats can't convince me that they're not absolute dog shit. So a big FU to the 1-4 Atlanta Falcons here for wasting a prime Julio Jones, man. That's what I feel. He's the real victim here, dude. Like, you watch Julio Jones in his prime, and he's just wasting away Larry Fitzgerald style. He's the real victim here.
He's the new Larry Fitzgerald. That's for sure. That fits though. Larry Fitzgerald lost a Super Bowl at the last minute, had a prolific career. You draw a good corollary right there, my friend. Very good, very good. Talking other good wide receivers wasting away their prime. Hopkins out in Texas. You were calling it. You've been on it. It finally came up for you.
And I'm going to interrupt you right here. I'm going to interrupt you right fucking here, dude, because I've had a Nostradamus weekend overall. The only one that I fucked up on was the Falcons Packers. I thought they'd be good. I went full Bobby on that one, but
yes. I told you not to do that. I
I've
mean,
had
I
a
made that
Nostradamus
mistake
weekend.
one
I'm
too
going to go
many
full
times. I
Nostradamus
walked
here.
into
You're
that
going to hear this
fucking
shit
gator
first,
trap.
people in Sweden. The Texans are losing out for the rest of the season, and they're not going to make the playoffs. And then they're going to fire Bill O'Brien. Excuse me. They're going to turn the burners on slowly and progressively, and then they're going to fire Bill O'Brien.
That's an aggressive, that's aggressive way to talk about that. Let's see, what is the Texans schedule the rest of the way out here? They got the Jets, so that doesn't work very well for you. They got the Eagles and they got the Jets, Eagles, and Jacksonville. So
I'll tell you what, they're going to lose the Jacksonville game. They're probably going to beat the Eagles. They're probably going to beat the Jets.
So that's you gotta walk that back there a little bit.
Hey Jamie, edit that out for me, buddy. All right, thanks, bud. Thanks.
Hey, also Jamie, grab me the white one tonight. Give me that white mortar and pestle because we are fucking partying tonight, baby. The coin.
Oh yeah.
He flew out. He's meeting Jim in Indy. And they're going to have a hell of a party tonight. Jim, with the white mortar and pestle, the victory mortar and pestle, crushing him up, snorting it through, having a hell of a night tonight. Go and party in Indianapolis. You deserved it. 49ers hosting the Broncos. This is one that I was into this thing, and this one fucked me. I had this thing tied into a 5-team teaser. Not a teaser, 5-team moneyline parlay with a whole bunch of other things. I thought the Broncos would go in there and take care of business. Broncos fall to 6-7. 49ers fucking up their tank, move to 3-10, winning 20-14. And I had the Broncos on the money line here. Excuse me, not on the money line, but given 3. And one of my things is when a team gets down and I've bet on them to cover the spread, as soon as it becomes apparent at a certain point, like that they can't cover that spread, I am fucking rooting against them. I want them to lose the game. I don't want them to win the game and for me to lose. So at the end of this, I was like, come on, Case. Come on. like towards the end of the third quarter, I was like, oh, we got some momentum here. We can get a couple touchdowns, get a field goal, cover those 3 points. And then it was 20-14. And they may have had a chance to win the ball game, but my allegiances flipped right away, and I was like, fuck you guys. You fucked me. You fucked me. I hope you get yours. And they ended up getting theirs. Miss Keenum, you let me down. I don't know what you were doing this week. Get him back in the playbook. No points in the first half against the lowly 49ers. This is bullshit. This is the worst loss of the week. And I'm pretty enraged at everybody out there in Denver. Vance Joseph, fuck you. You're losing your job, man. This was it. Like, this was your chance to save your job, and you go out and you lay an egg like this? I don't think so, man. So when the axe comes for you, when notorious asshole John Elway comes for you and comes for your job, hey, I got no sympathy for you because you laid a turd today, and you cost me some money, and I'm pretty pissed off about it.
Well, we already pushed him into the grave, and then he slowly climbed out of that grave. So we're going to push him back into the grave again one final time, and I'm going to give you the gun here, Bobby. Finish the job so we can go and eat some cannolis and get the fuck out of here.
Let's give him the double tap this time. Give him the failure drill. And they got to do a dead man's check at the end, too. Sure. For those of you familiar with the dead man's check, there's 2 ways to do a dead man's check. One is to flick somebody in the eyeballs and make sure if somebody's faking it. You got to flick them in the eyeballs because they can't. I mean, just think about it. Somebody flicks you in the eyeballs. No,
shit's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah, like you're not going to be able to like pretend like you're sleeping. But also the other way a dead man's check somebody is to basically put a bullet in each of their eyeballs, Boondock Saints style. And then I guess you'd probably lay those little coins on there as well. Say your little thing. What was weird about that movie? I know we talked about that a little bit, but I didn't realize
symbology behind that.
I didn't realize that that old dude was their dad until probably like the 10th time that I watched that movie because I just saw
there's a lot of stupid shit in that movie. There's a lot of stupid shit that doesn't make any sense. That being one of the big ones. How like the ending, like it kind of it never had a climax, and it never had like a finality to it. You know what I mean? Just kind of finished, and then it was like they met the dad. Rocco dies. They met the dad, and then that was over. It was weird.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird movie.
If you think that's dumb, you should watch Boondock Saints 2. Like, that is
Never
fucking
saw it.
Paul Blart 2 level of just idiocy. Which
I've never seen it.
like,
Never seen it.
have you seen Paul Blart? Have you seen Paul Blart Mall Cop?
I haven't. I try to stay away from
watch it.
Kevin James movies. I'm already dumb already, and so watching more Kevin James movies isn't going to help.
Yeah, it's a good protocol. But my wife liked Paul Blart Mall Cop, and she actually, I don't know, ordered Paul Blart 2 off of Netflix or something. And you know how it goes. Sometimes you got to sit down and you got to watch whatever that stupid show you had to watch with your woman tonight was. And sometimes you got to sit down and you got to watch a little Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. And it was ludicrous because like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, like he falls in love with this girl in Paul Blart Mall Cop 1, and she's not in the second one. So the story they make up is that she like scammed him and he's in jail. It's like, dude, now you just ruined the entire fucking first movie. And that's about the level of sense that Boondock Saints 2 is operating on. It's a fucking terrible movie. Don't watch it. First one's good to watch. It's no The Rock. It's no Shawshank Redemption, but it's a decent movie. So let's move on to the next football game here. Bengals 5-8. They lost 21-26. Chargers moved to 10-3. When are people gonna fucking start showing up for these Chargers games? Like ever? They're 10-3, man. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. And you can't feel a 45,000 seat soccer stadium. That thing was a third empty again today in perfect Southern California weather. Fuck you, Chargers fans. Like, you don't deserve this. Phillip Rivers doesn't deserve this. Like, man, I get so sick and tired of that.
I'm not. I love it. I love seeing that stadium absolutely fucking empty, and I love how the camera people and other I like how the camera people are also watching these Chargers games and learning how to hide the empty stadiums. They did the same thing for the Atlanta games. They did it for another game today too. I think the Bucs game was pretty empty as well.
The second half of that Redskins game was pretty sparsely populated.
It might have been the Redskins game. It might have been the Redskins games that was really empty. But they've been doing that for a while. But I have to disagree with you there, man. The Chargers, Phillip Rivers doesn't give a shit. He's still getting that paycheck. And it really comes down to the playoffs. If they're able to make a playoff push, who knows? Maybe they're going to be Los Angeles's real team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are going to come out of the woodwork. I'll tell you, let's move on. Let's move through this next game real quick. Lions beat the Cardinals 17-3. Yeah. I didn't watch any of this. I fucking didn't. I'm not going to talk about it other than there was a fake Matt Patricia in the stadium. Dressed as dressed. Did you see that guy? Did you see fake Matt Patricia?
I didn't, but he probably looked a lot like Matt Patricia.
He looked just like Matt Patricia. That's it. It was a Matt Patricia lookalike, and he had the whole beard, and he wore the trash bag and everything, and he had like a little headset on. It was dead on. Like that guy probably could have got, if he could have got over like the first level of security, he probably could have gotten to the locker room. Like it would have been possible.
He's actually probably that same guy was in the Patriots games last year too. There's always that guy. I mean, it's pretty easy to be a Matt Patricia. You just put a beard on and a backwards hat, and then put some newspaper where your boobs are, and you look like Matt Patricia. It's not that hard.
Put a pencil behind your ear.
Yeah, pencil behind your ear, and
don't trash bag.
Days, and you got the Matt Patricia look. It's pretty easy to achieve, especially with a headset too. I mean, can't see that being too difficult. Yeah, but let's not talk about this game. The only thing I did see is Matt Stafford, 101 yards of offense. That's about it. Let's just not talk about this game anymore.
Let's move past that. On to the last game to talk about here. Eagles at the Cowboys. Cowboys 7-5. Actually, did they move to 8-5? I'm pretty sure they moved to 8-5. I'm doing the math there. That doesn't make sense. I think they're 8-5 at this point. Eagles moved to 6-7, 23-29. Cowboys won in overtime. if it hadn't have been for that Raiders win where John Gruden was high five, he was literally like, he looked like Cal Ripken after Cal Ripken broke that consecutive games win streak and then ran around the whole field and high fived everybody, and the crowd stopped. The whole game stopped for half an hour. That was like John Gruden after that win. If it hadn't been for their win, John Gruden would just be sulking, watching Amari Cooper catch touchdown passes. He had another huge game, 217 yards receiving, 3 touchdown passes.
Did you see that final play too? See that final play where they threw it and Amari Cooper just kind of stood there and like landed in his hands, like tipped off of the Eagles defender?
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are fucking trash this year. No longer defending Super Bowl champions after this year, that's for sure. They are not making the playoffs. Cowboys essentially sealed up the entire division. All they have to do is win one of these last 3 games, and it's theirs for the taking because they got a 2-0 tiebreaker against Philadelphia, and the Redskins are not coming back and winning any ball games. So all Dallas has to do is win one of these last 3 games. They're at Indy, they got Tampa Bay, and they've got the Giants. They're gonna get one of those. They're in, man. The Cowboys are officially in the playoffs.
Barring some crazy injury to like Dak, they're going to be in, or some crazy injury to Ezekiel Elliott. But I called this earlier. Jerry Jones, he's handing out money to the referees. This is a double whammy for the NFC East. Cowboy win, Eagles loss. That's a big deal right there. Just like you said, that solidifies the playoffs right there. I'm excited to see them, see what they can do in the playoffs. I'm not expecting much, kind of have my expectations pretty low. But, I enjoy watching the Cowboys. I enjoy watching the Philly fans scream the F word, and I enjoy watching the Cowboy fans go ballistic on the sidelines.
Everything's right in the world again. So we're gonna get going here. Halftime of this Rams-Bears game. I got money on the Rams, given 3 points. I'm not excited to see that they've only put up 6 points in the first half. Jared Goff, 2 interceptions. What the fuck are you doing? Mitch Trubisky, I guess.
Trubisky already with 2 interceptions,
he's matched him as well. So we'll hope. We're all hoping for a Rams offensive outburst there. And then I got the Seahawks tomorrow night, giving 3 at home to the Vikings. So we'll see. It was a much better week for me on the gambling front. So I hit a couple good ones, not the same amount of despair as the previous week. So you got to quit fading Bobby at some point. I wouldn't make that point anytime soon, but
you had a good week this week. You had a good week. With the highs come the lows. So this week is the high. Maybe don't put any money next week and you'll be fine.
No, I'm definitely coming back. I'm coming back next week. I'm going on tilt next week. I'm going to put it all. I got my my MyBookie account. I got that feeling strong right now, and I'm gonna keep after that. Which, by the way, quick plug for MyBookie versus Bovada. I got the Bovada app. It's fucking garbage, man. Like, it's garbage. The usability on that, it's slow as shit, and it's not friendly to my Samsung phone. I'm sure if you're using an Android device, MyBookie's been much more friendly to me. Promo code Bobby, 20% off or 50% bonus on your next download. Been much more friendly to me. So everybody have a great rest of the week. We'll see you back here on Thursday night as we preview Week 15 in the NFL.
Grace!
I'll be done saying Grace.